What's going on, everybody? About an hour later than we normally would have it, and that is completely my fault. After Wayne Tech Experience, I decided to get some food, sat down on the couch, and completely fell asleep.
Totally dozed off.
Being that I work third shift, by the end of the week, it becomes very, very easy to do so. And yeah, my wife came home and said, "Hey, did you do the live already?" I said, "Nope."
You were like, oh, "What? What day is it?"
Oh man! So, guys, first of all, I want to welcome on my good buddy over here, JKL. Awesome. He has still been awesome to come over and help me out, and we're still just gonna rock and roll and do this thing as planned. Just an hour later than I normally would. So we're just going to move along because there is some huge news that I know a lot of you guys have probably seen flying through about this whole Disney investors meeting. Now, I didn't get the news that I wanted to get. And mind you, again, if some of you guys are joining us, welcome. Again, sorry for the being an hour later. I know I could see a lot of people going, from the chat was here at 9 o'clock going, "Hey, what is going on? Where is everybody?" And our parents said, "I know to get Chris for Christmas a watch."
Yeah,
again. Sorry, completely fell asleep. It happens, but it is what it is. So if anything, again, big thing, Techbot After Dark. Love to talk about Marvel stuff, things like that. The occasional Robert Pattinson bashing, but
he's gonna end up being a great Batman. Damn it!
Probably. I said it's gonna be one of two things: he's gonna be great or he's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
Fabian and Christina, welcome. Again, sorry for being late, but huge news. So we're actually gonna start on. I think the Star Wars side. Okay. I know the side that you're real excited for, stuff like that. Because the big question I think a lot of people have had with Disney is the fact that, they've, where do you go from here? What else are you going to do?
Right.
Because, the original 9 episodes have been made now. You've had some spinoffs and stuff like that and told the story. So where do you go from here? And I think Disney just answered the start of that.
Yeah, they did. They answered it in a big way. See, this was their original plan from the start, but when Solo kind of failed, and then people were hating on the what's it, the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker,
mm-hmm.
Like they were like, all right, we need to figure something out. So that's why they stopped everything.
Disney, and they're just not going to let this train stop.
Right.
But nobody knew. I mean, everyone knew that the final 9th one started finally made. So what are you going to do?
Right. So the plan, I believe, was to do the spin-off movies anyway. But now that they got the streaming service, it was like, all right, well, we'll throw out this Mandalorian thing, see what happens. It's a hit. And like I've been saying, Boba Fett getting spin-off show, Ahsoka getting the spin-off show. They've been talking about the Obi-Wan show forever. First it was a movie, then it was a show, then they didn't know. Like now that they see it can be done and they have people who are capable of doing it, I say quote unquote the right way, because I don't know what the right way is, but I guess the way the fans agree with. now they got their whole plan. So
yeah, and I mean, I think Mandalorian was one of those. I think it was a shot in the dark by Disney, to be honest with you, because they were probably still figuring out what they were going to do, and they're like, well, we have this idea in hand. Let's go with it. Let's see if this can launch our streaming service. Let's see if this can do what we hope it's going to do. I mean, it was a huge hit, and I think that they had it in there and said, okay, now we got people that are willing to do the TV style, as well as go to the theaters and watch the movies. So I think that was a huge bridging gap. I think it was a learning tool for Disney, nonetheless.
Yeah, but once you have people who are passionate about it, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they're like fans of the stuff more than just directors or writers or whatever. So they understand the material. And the Mandalorian, that was like that was supposed to be the Boba Fett show. Oh, yeah. I believe it was originally supposed to be Boba Fett's show that they were talking about doing for years, but it was like, all right, well, let's not just make a Boba Fett show. Let's just make it a generic Mandalorian, and they changed it around a little bit or a lot, and yeah, like it became a hit. So yeah,
well, I think it was also, I don't know. I don't think fans knew what to expect from a Star Wars TV show. But we've said it in our panel on Saturdays plenty of time that this, what they're doing over there, I mean, it's crazy because they're making movie style worthy TV shows.
Yeah. Well, you got the money thrown behind it because, Disney, they print their own money. Mm-hmm. And you have people, like I said, who love the IP. So they're putting passion into the projects. And the fact that the Mandalorian, like they didn't just write a story, they get a bunch of directors and say, here's the story we're writing, go direct it. They brought in directors who also love the material. Because if you watch the first documentary behind the scenes for the Mandalorian, you can see the 6 directors that directed those episodes. They love the Mandalorian too. They love Star Wars. So it was a collaborative process. So if they keep Favreau and Filoni in charge, which I think they should, of all Star Wars stuff, the same way what's his face, Kevin Feige was in charge of all Marvel stuff, then I think they can do some good stuff, some real stuff.
Yeah. But again, as we're talking about the new investors meeting, and if you guys don't know what Disney always does something during this, being that it's COVID and there's no big, there was no D23. It wasn't supposed to be D23 this year, anyways. It was the off year, and they knew that this was finally the only platform they were going to have this end of the season to really present with the stuff that they were bringing, to get people excited somewhat. And so they did it in a huge way. Yeah. And let me just bring this up. So with Star Wars, they announced at least 10 new titles,
something like that. I can't say.
I mean, it was crazy.
A lot.
And definitely to bring this whole thing in for years. So I'm just going to bring it right up here. Now, I know that some of this stuff, I think there's even one more in here that they had talked about that is actually going to be coming. However, I think it's going to be a movie style. But you guys go with, they have these little marks here that show with what's a TV show. And, of course, we have another big movie still coming with Rogue Squadron.
Right.
We'll start there. We'll start with the one Rogue Squadron movie going on right now.
All right, Rogue Squadron, the Top Gun of Star Wars, basically. That's what that's supposed to be.
Is that what it is? So Rogue Squadron. So we're following probably someone that drives an X-wing, stuff like that. So the crazy one but the question everybody always has is, and eventually they're going to start doing the same thing with the MCU, is when is this being placed?
Yeah, I was about to say that's the question, because in the books, Rogue Squadron was the best X-wing pilots, and Wedge Antilles, who was in the original movies, he was the fighter that was usually with Luke. He was the leader of Rogue Squadron, so it was pretty much like their adventures, running missions and things like that. Like I know I read 2 of the books, maybe. I don't really remember them though, and of course they had the game. What system was it on? I think N64. They had a Rogue Squadron game. But yeah, that's the thing I would question is what timeline, what period. I mean, Rogue Squadron came after the destruction of the second Death Star, so I would think it would be placed somewhere after the destruction of the first Death Star. So I would think it would be somewhere from there on to now.
Well, that would be somewhere between New Hope and
And now, it could be future. It could be past that too. I'm sure they kept the designation of Rogue Squadron. So, because remember, Rogue One was from
that, and that was before
New Hope, right?
New Hope. Yeah.
That's where they got it from, and then Rogue Squadron came after that. So, yeah, if they have a Rogue Squadron all the way up to the Rise of Skywalker, they could do a movie about it.
Yeah, and that's all where it always depends on where that and is there enough there? I mean, obviously there's enough there for a full length movie, and especially being Rogue Squadron, that could be one that that's going to be a movie need to go to the movie theater to go check out type situation because there's going to be all kinds of aerial effects and all kinds of stuff like that.
And that's what sorry, go ahead.
No. So I was just going to get to this. So as far as Disney Plus, I mean, they're dumping so much into this. As far as Disney Plus, it's almost like they're all in at this point with Disney Plus. I think they've recognized the fact that they are releasing some movies direct on the whole. They talked about some animated movies and stuff like that that we're just going to go direct onto Disney Plus and stuff like that. But they're big movies they're going to keep as theatrical movies.
Yeah, they're trying to do that, right?
But I think everything else is just, and they're slowly dumping so much stuff into Disney Plus. So in the Star Wars realm, I think they're dumping more money into Disney Plus than I think even Marvel is. Just by the show, Marvel's getting a lot more movies.
Yeah,
and they're using the TV shows to kind of mix it. But man, everything right now, Star Wars, it's mainly through Disney Plus. Well, so first we know about Mandalorian here. First big one I noticed was the Rangers of the New Republic, and that automatically made me think, wait, we already seen that already so far.
Have we? What's the
well? It wasn't in Mandalorian. The girl he fought with in the first season, didn't she basically become a Ranger?
Yeah, Cara Dune. That's what everybody's thinking.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah, that's going to be her spinoff show. I don't know if they're going to give her a spinoff show though. I mean, I would love to see her get a show because I like the actress. I mean, a lot of people get on her because she's not great or whatever, but I would love to see her in her own show being a Ranger.
But here's the thing though, it's not Ranger of the New Republic. It's talking about Rangers.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be her as the star. So, but I would love to see her get a new show. But I think she's just going to be a side character for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, so, I think there's going to be a whole squadron created. We already know that the New Republic is going through to try to recruit people, try to do different things. So I think you're going to see more of that in there. And then I think, if you're going to do a Ranger, you're going to have to put Cara Dune in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that show, I don't know what to really expect from it. I'm excited for it because I want to know what it is, but I just don't know what to expect from it. I'm like, okay, well, what's the story going to be about? And again, where are you going to place it? Like, where in the timeline does it take place?
In my mind right now, and I think a lot of fans' mind, again, because it's all associated with Cara Dune, I think it's going to be in the same time frame as The Mandalorian.
Right. Well, I know they had said that some of the shows are definitely going to interact with each other. So they're going to have crossovers. So this is probably one of them. I mean, Mando, the Rangers, and Ahsoka can definitely all run together. Yeah, because you basically already saw them all interacting. So that could definitely work.
Yeah, and that leads right into our next one, Ahsoka. Now this completely made sense once they announced it. Because again, you had a fantastic actress,
exactly,
portraying Ahsoka. I mean, better than I think anybody could have in Rosario Dawson. Yep. Fantastic actress as it is, but I mean, it only makes sense that if you get that class and that top of an actress, why not give her own film or show, whatever it is.
And we talked about that before. Like, we knew. As soon as they announced her as the character. I mean, fan service is one thing because a lot of the fans were already pushing for her to play the live action version because it just fits so well. But at the same time, like you said, such a high caliber actor, it was just a no brainer. Yeah, she's getting her own show.
And she did fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I mean, everybody just from the start of that episode, she just everything about it was great.
Yeah.
And so that one is I mean, we know that. I mean, again, everything on this list all depends on the timeline of where they're going to place this. Right. But again, I still see this being placed within a similar timeline.
Yeah,
what she's doing now.
Yeah, Ahsoka should be. Maybe they'll do some flashbacks to kind of fill in some gaps, but as far as I see it, it should be within the current timeline with the Mandalorian. I say current timeline, not current timeline, within the Mandalorian timeline, because current depends on which show you're watching. So.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true with that one.
Yeah.
So like I said, that one I'm so excited about just because we've seen how good Rosario Dawson is as Ahsoka. Yeah. Now this next one, I have no idea anything about. Andor,
Cassian from Rogue One. Come on.
What was it?
Cassian Andor from Rogue One, the leading male actor from a character from the Rogue One movie.
I might have to go back and watch it. I watched Rogue One once, and it was a while ago.
Yeah, so he's getting his own show. Obviously, it's going to be taking place before the events of Rogue One because spoilers for anybody who don't know, they all died. So, yeah, that was one of the things that a lot of the actors who, when they did the movie, because of course nobody knew the ending, then it was a pretty good movie, and then all the characters died. So it's like, well, how do you continue it? But one of the things you continue it is you do prequel type stuff. What were they doing before the movie? So that's what his show is going to be about. I don't know how many seasons they have planned or what. But
well, I mean, so that makes me think. Of course, we know everyone died there, so we're going to assume that storyline is going to be ahead of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's going to be before the Mandalorian. Yeah. Because the Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi. Rogue One took place before A New Hope. So
okay.
Yeah, so his story is going to be before Rogue One. I don't know how much before, if they're going to do a couple years, directly before, or whatever. But from what I saw from the preview they did, they put a lot of work into building those sets, and some of that stuff looks awesome. So I would guess they're planning on at least 2-3 seasons of that show.
That would be nice. That would definitely be nice. So maybe, and I think the nice part about even doing a show like this and having stuff placed on different, timelines and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of like, to me, it's sometimes a marvelous what if. Well, what happened here? What if this? Blah 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 blah. So right. I think in the time of things, this is going to start as fans. It's going to start answering our questions even more.
Yeah.
Or answering our questions even more.
Filling in those gaps.
Yep. Exactly. So, I think that's definitely a good thing. Now, of course, this next one, Obi-Wan, everybody knew that this one was going to come because you already said that he was coming back.
Yeah, buddy. And guess who else is coming back? Did you hear?
No.
Hayden Christensen. He's coming back to play Darth Vader.
Oh, that's right.
Baby. Oh, he's back. The Dark Lord is back, baby. I'm sorry.
Well, because within that time frame when he became Darth, so now this is going to answer a lot of those questions. Yeah, so I would almost assume, because we already know that Obi-Wan dies in New Hope, so it's not going to be there. So this is going to be between episodes. I think this is going to be, of course, placed between episode 3 and episode 4.
Well, they said it's 10 years after, Revenge of the Sith. So it's going to be 10 years after Anakin became Darth Vader. So it's definitely before A New Hope. It's like right in the middle, basically, before A New Hope and after Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
So that's going to be awesome. And from what they was from the hints that they've been giving, there's going to be a showdown between Vader and Obi-Wan, another one before what happened in A New Hope. So,
Ooh.
Yeah. They were saying the rematch of the century. I'm like, what? Oh, what are they planning to do? Oh,
because he's all about trying to. I mean, he got beat down. He got beat down by Obi-Wan. So how are you going to come back from that?
I can't even say he got beat down. He just got cocky. he got overconfident.
I mean, he told him the whole time. He's like, just stop, blah blah. Blah. I mean,
because Anakin was
you thought Hayden was the portrayed the best of that character. That to me doesn't make a difference anymore. He cemented in the Star Wars franchise and stuff like that, and it just is what it is. But you got to just roll with it. And I mean, trust me, I've seen bad actors. Robert Pattinson, but I've seen bad actors before. But
I don't think he was that bad of an actor. I don't think anybody in any of those movies was really as bad as people say they were. It's just a matter of
maybe because I wasn't that involved in Star Wars. I didn't think he did that bad. To be honest with you, I just don't.
I mean, if you go back and watch the first Star Wars, I mean, if you look at some of the scenes and some of the reactions, like some of that stuff was bad too. It wasn't like it was, oh my God, the best acting in the world. You got more caught up in the story and like this whole new world you were in. So that was the beauty of it for me. And watching the prequels, I was like, the way people hated on everything about all of them, basically. I'm like, but why? It wasn't as bad, He said Jar Jar was bad. Jar Jar was
that was probably the most annoying part of the first three. It's just it. I mean, it made sense more when you had talked about that they had more plans for Jar Jar, which that made more sense. But God, he was annoying, and maybe that's why they didn't continue on. But everyone kind of harassed with him. But
everyone hated on him. But oh man. He ruined the prequels. He didn't ruin the prequels. He's alright.
So that one, I mean, I'm especially excited just because I know they're bringing Hugh McGregor back. McGregor's a fantastic actor, and so of course, hopefully, let's hopefully we get rematch number 2, because we know how a rematch in that case. If we know there's number 2 coming out, we know what number 3 ends. By being basically pre-planned. It was It was a rigged battle.
Basically. But I could see Vader probably getting the upper hand in this one. You gotta figure Anakin lost the first one, so he's got to win the second one, and then Obi-Wan pretty much forfeited the third one.
Because he knew he was gonna. They're old. I mean, it's like watching at that point. I mean, you could see how old Darth Vader was, but it's like watching you two grandpas fighting out with a lightsaber. Just it wasn't gonna happen.
Didn't make sense because if remember, Rogue One happened directly before this movie. Like they run right into each other if you watch them back to back, and you saw how badass Vader was in Rogue One. And then he's fighting Obi-Wan like he's a geriatric. That shit just didn't make sense. It's like, come on, man. I mean, I understand, the time period that they were both filmed, so, it was different. But when you watch them back to back, you're just like, why is he fighting him like he's an old man now? He should have destroyed Obi-Wan with no problem. So
yeah, exactly. But he was old. He was old.
And Obi-Wan forfeited also because he knew that Luke wasn't gonna leave if he saw him fighting. So he was like, all right, well, I'm gonna commune with him through the Force anyway. I'm gonna just give my life now so they can get away, and then we'll go with it.
Now, are you talking about ruining the prequels? Or are we talking about Jar Jar Binks ruined the prequels or Hayden Christensen?
I think he's talking about Jar Jar.
I think we're talking about Jar Jar here.
He's got to be talking about Jar Jar.
I would say really he was only really a huge effect on the first one. And they brought him in for small little things afterwards.
Because even the way the movie still played out, you see Jar Jar was the one who voted for the Chancellor to have ultimate power. He's the one who brought it up, and that was originally part of the plan, because Jar Jar was supposed to be the secret apprentice, helping him to get power. So, they still held on to some of that. And of course, all of this is still rumor, because Lucas hasn't officially said that was the plan, but supposedly people close to him said that was his original plan.
And I do agree with you, Barbarian. I definitely think a show from Vader's perspective could be quite interesting.
Well, read the comic books. That's all I can tell you. Read the comic books. If they make those into shows, that would be pretty cool too. But
this next couple, wasn't quite sure where they're going with this. I know that they showed a little bit. Now, of course, Marvel got more actual trailer shown than Star Wars did. But Bad Batch, I believe, I think this is going to be their animated one.
Yes, that's animated.
Off of Clone Wars.
Yep. It's after the Clone Wars. The Bad Batch were altered clones that they all had like a special gift or superpower, basically, if you want to call it that. And they called themselves the Bad Batch, also known as Clone Troop 99, after Clone 99, who was a deformed clone. He basically gave his life. He was like, you saw the movie 300. The one deformed Spartan that wanted to fight, but they wouldn't let him fight. That was like Clone 99. He was like a deformed clone. But instead of turning on them, he actually helped them. So, yeah. So they named themselves Clone Troop 99. But that would be a pretty cool show, because it would show what the clones went through after Order 66. So
again, a whole new perspective and a whole new way of looking at stuff.
Yeah,
that I think as fans we've always asked that question, and now that's being answered.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw because I saw this before I watched the last episode of The Mandalorian, and I'm not going to spoil it because I know we want to talk about that tomorrow. But there was a scene in the latest episode which
I haven't watched it yet. I plan on watching it in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, but there's a scene that gave you a new perspective on a different side of the equation, I guess. Like something you don't really think of when you watch Star Wars. You kind of just go with the flow, but when you see it, you're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, okay. I guess that's how they would react. So, yeah. Exactly. So seeing the Bad Batch, seeing the clones' point of view. Well, I don't know if it's going to be their point of view, but their perspective of what happened after Order 66. Yeah, it should be interesting. And those clones, I don't know if they had the inhibitor chips. So, not inhibitor chips. What are they called? The damn chips that the clones
the programming chips, basically.
So I don't know if they would have followed Order 66. So that's going to be interesting to find out also.
Yeah. Now, Visions, I have no idea. They didn't really go too much in detail in the show about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be, but from what I heard, it's gonna be anime style Star Wars stories. Yeah. So,
and again, guys, if you guys did get a chance to watch this whole thing, Marvel had a fantastic back section. They presented last. And they showed some stuff and things like that. Disney, when they did the Star Wars stuff beforehand, they brought up all these items, and everyone was hoping for something as far as trailer wise or whatnot. And unfortunately, all we got was a bunch of names.
Yeah, most of it didn't have. Most of it isn't even in production yet. I mean, Andor is the only one that's really in production. We know Mandalorian season 3 is coming. We know Andor is coming because it's already in production. Mm-hmm. And Bad Batch, they probably have a lot of the animation already.
Yeah, they could probably get the animation going on that pretty quickly.
But everything else is,
Well, I know that. I thought they already started filming Obi-Wan.
I thought it was 2021 they were going to start.
No, that
started already.
Yeah, I think they did. I think there was something said about that. I think that filming was supposed to start in January or February.
Okay.
So
I thought it was 2021.
Yeah. Lando.
Yes. The only question is which Lando.
We've already got 2 Lando. We've got 2 Lando so far. So which one are we gonna get?
And I know they were trying to get Childish Gambino. That's what I call him.
Donald Glover.
They were trying to get Donald Glover to come back to do the show. He's really picky when he does stuff. So I don't know.
I think at this point, I mean, I think Donald Glover is a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And he's built himself up like his dad. He can. He's built himself up a reputation. He's not that young actor in the scene anymore.
Right.
He's gonna pull bigger. He's gonna pull bigger money because he's a bigger actor at that. And I actually liked his portrayal of Lando.
Oh, excellent.
I didn't. I know everyone gave the Han Solo.
I don't know his name.
I think it was Solo. I don't know. Whatever. I think everyone gave that whole thing a bad rap. I mean, I don't think it was a bad movie. I think the storyline could have been a little bit better.
Definitely could have been better.
But I don't think that. I think he portrayed Hans. I mean, pretty well for being
all right. Yeah, it was all right. See, the thing with the Solo movie, I think it was too much fan service. They put way too many things in there about what happened in his past that they really didn't have to. Like,
the only thing they knew they had to put in there was the what is it? Well, he talked about it for years.
They didn't even have to put that in there. The Kessel Run. They didn't.
Kessel Run. There we go. Like I remember.
They didn't have to do that. Like they put in the gold dice that he had hanging off his window, which was such a minor thing. Nobody even really cares about that unless you're a true Star Wars fan. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Like how he met Chewie. Like you really didn't need to throw that in there either. Like it was good for them to meet, but they had to meet, but it was like,
I would think my perspective is, give the money to Donald Glover because there's a huge that right now your biggest. You've already seen Hans to his death.
Yeah.
So we've seen Hans all the way through.
Uh-huh.
There's a big gap in there between where we just seen him in the Solo movie, with Lando, and where we seen him in the movie. So you're gonna have to play that, and I think bringing Donald Glover back to do Lando, I think would be the smartest move.
I think having both of them, have Billy D. Williams too, because remember at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, he was going off with the girl with Janna to like figure out her past. So you could always do it like like it's set in the future Lando's timeline, but he reminisces about past things that have happened, and then that's how you get Donald Glover in there to do that flashback stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I was just thinking when you said it's like, oh, they could do the whole flashback style.
Yeah,
but I agree with you, Barbarian. Solo movie was okay. Like I said, it's forgettable, but I think that was based on the actual the story of what they did than the actual actors who portrayed them.
Yeah, the whole story. And like I said, too fan servicey. Like they showed how he got his gun. Who cares how he got his gun?
Yeah, they're trying to answer too many questions, and I think the part of great storytelling is sometimes of holding back a little bit.
Yeah,
and still trying to tease, and that's what they've been doing with Mandalorian. And maybe they all of these are going to take a note off of how Mandalorian's kind of
right. It's the right amount of fan service,
right amount
of storytelling.
That's just like what we've said, with Mandalorian. Don't bring the Skywalkers into this.
Right. We don't need them.
We don't need. We've seen the Skywalker story.
Fine, but it doesn't have to focus on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Acolyte.
The Acolyte. Okay. From what I've heard, this is supposed to be towards the end of the High Republic era. Okay. And of course, the Acolytes were like dark side loyalists. Sometimes you could be a Force user and you were an acolyte before you like became a Sith, depending on how strong you were in this Force. So probably going to be something to do with the dark side. Maybe the rise of the Sith. From what I hear, the timeline, Darth Plagueis should be alive around this time.
Okay.
And Yoda should be alive around this time because it's only 100 years before.
Yeah, it should be before. And as we know, the child is old as hell as he is, and he's already still as young as he is. We know that race of whatever Yoda and I always forget the child's actual name now, which I think is a horrible name by the way.
I don't mind it. It's cute.
But we know that race, because we know very little about that race.
Right.
That, of course, age time frame. So we know that Yoda has to be around during the Old Republic.
Yeah. Anything less than 900 years from A New Hope or from Empire Strikes Back, he's still alive because he was 900 when he died. So
yeah. Droid story. I think that pretty much tells the big story. Or answers a lot of that. The only question is, what droid are you going to use, and where is it going to be placed? Because I mean that's an open book at this point.
Right.
Whether you tell the story for multiple droids.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was supposed to star C-3PO and R2-D2. That's all I heard.
Which I think that's fantastic. You're going to bring a lot of fans in there.
Yeah.
Willow.
It's supposed to be towards younger audiences too, so yeah, that's probably for the kids. Willow, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. All I know is Willow from the 80s, and if they're remaking it or continuing the story in some way, I'm all for it.
Now, was Willow ever associated? And I think here's the one thing that they did not add to this, and I was trying to get it with it all in there. I think when they brought up Willow, now, of course, Willow was originally a Lucas Arts film. That's why they brought it up within this section. Willow does nothing to do with Star Wars.
As far as I know.
As far as we know. Willow is a classic movie, and I think it's a great movie nonetheless. I'd be interested to see if they're going to remake it. And then, of course, we also know the one that's not on this list is another Indiana Jones, and Harrison Ford is coming back. Really? And we know this is the end of the Indy as we know it.
Okay.
So they did say that this is the final for Harrison. So my question is, although we thought the final was last time because they set it up perfectly for Shyla to take over.
Take over, yep.
And then Shyla went batshit crazy for a while.
Well, he's a young dude, came into stardom pretty fast. It happens.
Hey, I'm a huge Shia LaBeouf fan. I'm happy to see him back.
I love the dude. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind even seeing them bring him back into the Indiana Jones series.
They should at this point. I mean, he basically rehabilitated his image. I mean, the same way Robert Downey Jr. I mean, they took a risk on him with Iron Man, and look what happened.
I think that would be all into perspective of, does Shyla want to do it?
Yeah.
So that was your big LucasArts, Star Wars type stuff. I think we have a lot of material for Star Wars to come. Yeah. And I think this is, if you guys ever wanted to know where Disney can bring this, I guarantee you once all these eventually play, there's still going to be tons of questions.
Yeah.
So by Disney buying Lucas, that they were never going to end it at 9.
Of course,
they were always going to bring you more.
Yep, they just had to figure out a way to do it, and of course, there's always the fear of over flooding the market, like too many shows, because as you can see, 10 shows, 9 shows and a movie, and 2-3 movies, whatever. It seems like a lot, and as fans, we're all excited, but at the same time, it's scary because it's like, damn.
You don't want to kill it. You want to leave it. And I hope they space it. They space it enough. Because again, if they're releasing all of these on Disney Plus, and then now we're going to go to Marvel.
Yeah. And
they're releasing all those at the same time.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, though, Marvel has 4 shows right now, that are set to come out like within the next couple years.
Yeah.
Like some of the others are going to be 2023 and things like that. So
yeah, you took a lot coming, but I mean, it's still the next 5 years right now. Disney Plus is huge, and again, if you guys don't have Disney Plus already, you must be living under a rock. Get it now, because once all these shows start coming out in the next year, especially with Marvel, I foresee them raising rates.
Oh, they're doing it. They announced it.
No,
it's going up by $1. It's going up by $1. I'm not sure when, but I believe for the first few months of the new year, it's going to go up $1. The package for ESPN and Hulu and Disney Plus is going up like I think $2, something like that. So yeah, it's
which
already.
I still don't think is a deal breaker by any means.
No, not a deal breaker.
And then I know that they are bringing out if all you guys that did the package, like myself, and always wondered why can't we get the commercial-free Hulu?
Yep,
that is coming.
Yep,
you are going to get the option to go commercial-free. They did say something about maybe a $3 upgrade for that, but to get rid of commercials, I'll pay $3 all day.
Yeah, depending on how much you use it, actually. I don't watch my Hulu as much as I used to, so the commercials don't bother me as much. And not all shows have commercials.
Yeah,
some of them they don't. So
very good point.
Watch.
And I know Bearded said, I hope they use Tyrion from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Tyrion, yeah.
Tyrion.
That was what's his name?
I don't know Game of Thrones. I have no idea.
The short guy.
The dwarf.
Yeah. Oh, why can't I?
For Willow, yeah, that's that I don't think he can pull that off.
He's probably too old to play the character.
I'm thinking Willow was a lot younger.
Again, depending on where they place the movie, if there's a continuation or not, because I don't think the original actor died. Warwick Davis. I don't know if he passed yet.
I don't know. That'd be one to look into.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. He's a fantastic actor, and if you don't put him as a main character, I think he could be placed somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Now, for mine, and trust me, you can ask my wife. I was screaming every time they would go to something else. Go, where is the Marvel information?
Oh,
good Lord, did they deliver?
Yes, and I had heard about some of this stuff beforehand, so I was excited to see that it was actually true.
Silver-haired Wolf, what's going on? Appreciate you joining. Here's the thing with it. I didn't get what I was hoping. We're all hoping, of course, since Time Warner had released that they're going to do, Wonder Woman's coming out this month, and all these movies are going to come out on HBO Max, which I am getting, by the way. I'm sorry that those movies are forcing me that I have to get HBO Max because, I mean, you're a fool not to if you don't have the ability to. But
it's actually pretty good. It has a lot of stuff on it, so you.
Oh yeah, and I think this is going to be their next catapult to start doing even more shows. But Kevin Feige did not disappoint, and I've got 2 pages. 2 pages for Marvel. We're gonna go with the first one, which a lot of this talks about the TV shows. We got an updated trailer for WandaVision.
Oh my God, it looks so good.
Which was fantastic. This is definitely in her head. This is definitely in her head. I'm convinced of it now because the small parts of the trailer, and trust me, guys, I wish I could play this trailer for you guys right now, but I'd get copyrighted up and down. But it is fantastic. If you haven't watched it, get online and check it out. But yeah, it's definitely telling us that wherever this is being placed, this is 100% in her head.
Yeah.
And we know Vision's dead.
Yeah.
Vision's dead. He's not coming back. The Mind Stone is gone.
Well, we'll see, because in the trailer, there's this one scene where she's like staring at a giant version of the Mind Stone, and it explodes. So I'm wondering if when she destroyed it, because her powers came from the Mind Stone. So I'm wondering if when she destroyed it, if it imprinted on her somehow, something where she could bring Vision back. I don't know, but
it's still gone because Cap really can't put the Mind Stone back.
Yeah, but she might have like his essence or something in her. I don't know.
Well, I think that's what their connection is, and I think that's because we all know the Scarlet Witch can go. I mean, she's that mind dweller, right? And she can imprint these things, and I think that's what this is going to be about. I originally thought this was to come out December 20th, and I remember seeing things. I was big on it. I guess it got pushed back to the 15th, I think it's gonna be something.
It's the show I'm most excited for out of everything on the screen right now is what I'm most excited for because I just want to know what the heck's going on.
Mind you, almost everything on this screen, everything on this first screen is all coming out next year. Oh, except for maybe She-Hulk.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe not She-Hulk.
Maybe not She-Hulk. But maybe not Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. But they all. I mean, if you were like me and going through Marvel withdrawals, we are getting Marvel overload next year, and I'm not hating on that.
Miss Marvel's been shooting because they have scenes. Captain Marvel 2 probably won't be next year.
Captain Marvel 2, I think, is 2022.
Yeah, but Miss Marvel, I think, is coming.
Miss Marvel, I think they've already started. They've got 4 different directors working on that one. Fantastic. But again, we got a trailer for Wanda and Vision. We got a trailer, and I'm going to skip around here, guys, just because of the beginning of this thing. We got an awesome trailer from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
It was so good.
And trust me, these two are still bickering just as much as they did from Civil War.
It's so cool.
It's awesome. Bucky Barnes. And of course, we all know that basically Bucky's biggest nemesis is back.
Yeah. Oh, it was so. When I was watching it, I was trying to like pick out the little secrets and stuff, but I couldn't even focus. I was just so hyped. Like I have to rewatch all this stuff.
I watched that one. I watched that one at least 4 times so far, and I will probably watch it another 10 times before it comes out. And I've turned into one of these weird, especially having a YouTube channel and talking about this stuff. You know, I remember when Infinity Wars was coming out, and they would do the trailers, and I'd watch all these shows about breaking down the trailers and stuff like that. Of course, we know now that none of those were ever true. And the Russo brothers planted not bad trailers, but incorrect trailers to throw everybody off.
Throw people off,
They're not going to do that in this case because they're building it up. From what I heard, though, this first season of Falcon Winter Soldier is only a 6-episode season.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's mainly, to be honest with you, I think it's mainly played out showing that is going to build up to Sam getting the shield. Because you can tell right from the beginning, Sam knows he does not deserve that shield.
Well, I don't know if it's 100% whether he deserves it or not, but I do think a lot of it has to do with whether other people think he deserves it.
Exactly. I don't think he deserves, because he knows what that shield represents. He knows, the legacy left behind in that shield.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know himself if he's ready to take that on.
Right. And from what I've heard, they're also going to play a little bit into the racial aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Like, is the world ready for a Black Captain America? Because there was a similar
100%.
issue. It was a similar issue when he became Captain America in the comics. Like, people lost their minds. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like, so what? Come on, Steve Rogers is coming back.
Wait, when he came out with that Falcon red, white, and blue outfit, oh man, that was probably one of my favorite images to this day.
So cool, and people lost their minds. I'm like, get over it, man. I mean,
the thing is, you got to remember, Sam was he was a soldier first,
right?
And he knows just like Cap, and that's why it was always him and Cap. That's why it was side by side. That's why he always told Cap, "Your enemies are my enemies."
Exactly.
He's a soldier.
People who shoot at you are usually shooting at me. Like, yeah.
But I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think this is where this is playing in, that he's trying to figure out if he's worthy of the shield.
Yeah.
Bucky's trying to uncover stuff from his past.
Yeah.
I think that's where these both collide.
Yeah, based on some of the conversation they were having, especially the last conversation in the trailer, when he was asking him what he was thinking, he was like, "Yeah, I see that cyborg brain. It's starting to smoke. I think."
And then I still hate you.
Yeah.
No, actually, the best part that I laughed so hard in that trailer was when Bucky's like, "So do we have a plan here? Do we have a plan here?"
Yeah,
and
he
just like doesn't say a word, and then just jumps out of the plane.
Cap. Because remember in Avengers, one of the first things we see Cap do is jump out the back of the plane. And then in Captain America 2, what does he do? He jumps out the plane without a parachute. Like, so Sam's like, yeah, jump out. Let's go. That's the plan.
Yes, we have no plan. Hey, Beer Barbarian. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm sorry I got here late. Again, fell asleep. I do apologize for you guys. If you guys are just joining us now, this is later than it normally would be. I worked third shifts of my normal job, and I sat down in between the shows, and I fell asleep. So I do apologize. The other big one, and I didn't honestly think they were going to bring this out, Loki.
Oh, this is another show.
Trailer of Loki. They started off the trailer right where we last saw Loki.
Yep.
With grabbing the Tesseract.
Yep.
And disappearing. And everyone's been wondering, where did Loki go?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, then you get an Owen Wilson character.
Yeah.
That showed up. And
I don't know.
Originally when I heard Owen Wilson was in Marvel, I'm like, how is that going to work?
Uh-huh.
It works. Whatever character he is playing works.
Yeah, from the closed caption. If you ever watch a YouTube video, sometimes watch it with the captions on. It reveals stuff. His character was called Mobius. Now, the only Mobius
I remember Mobius.
I remember Morbius.
Morbius, I do know Morbius.
Vampire. So I'm like, Mobius.
Mobius, I have no idea. That one I'm lost on. I don't know what character he's playing.
Yeah, I don't know. And I haven't looked it up yet, so I guess I'll look it up tomorrow.
The only thing Feige kind of gave us is it's supposed to be, it's almost supposed to be like an action crime.
Yeah, like a action crime drama. Yeah. And remember, it's a different timeline from the current timeline, so it doesn't lead directly into what happened from Endgame. And a lot of the characters that might be dead in the MCU universe will be alive in this universe. So
you definitely got to remember this was. I mean, when he grabbed that Tesseract, that was after Avengers 1. Right. So the Loki that we saw from that gave up his life in Infinity Wars, that was content with his brother and saw a different view.
Right.
That's not the Loki we have.
Right. You're still dealing with the Loki after Avengers.
Yeah. First Avengers. Lord of Mischief at his finest. Yeah. Just being, and then there was the great scene at the end of that where he's got the suit on, got the horns going, and it's just that was iconic right there.
And one of the cool Easter eggs in there was there was a scene where he's standing in front of a woman who's on a podium, kind of like a judge, and behind her are the three heads. That's like the living tribunal. So I'm wondering if that character, if she's supposed to be either the living tribunal or a representative for the living tribunal. So
I noticed that too, and I still had to look up to see if I was thinking right. It seems more of a representative, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a cosmic entity. But being a cosmic entity, you could probably just make yourself look human if you wanted. So
that also doesn't answer the whole, because I don't remember this, and maybe I missed it. What's VSP?
What's VSP? What's that?
Or what was it? what Owen Wilson had said. Well, time is
the TVA, the time variance. What's the A stand for? I just brain farted. But
I can't remember. But
yeah, they basically they deal with time travel. They're like time cops, basically. That's what this.
Which that's actually going to lead into something that's not on these screens, but we are actually. I'm going to bring it up because it was to me one of the when they were announcing all the different actors they got for movies coming up, and I think was huge. Announcing actor for it. And we'll get to that point.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay,
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I got you.
But Loki, fantastic, another great trailer. Another trailer I'll probably watch 10 times before it comes out.
Yeah.
But
that's probably the show I'm second most excited for right now.
That's supposed to be coming out in spring. So we're gonna go
day after my birthday. Yeah, but
we're gonna go from WandaVision straight to Falcon Winter Soldier, straight to Loki.
Yeah.
And then they did give a brief trailer of the animated version of the What If. Now, again, What If is coming from the line of comic books that they did, where it kind of Marvel just decided, hey, let's answer some questions. What if it was never Steve Rogers? What if there's so many questions to say. What if this? What if that? And that's what this is based off. And I like that they're going with the animated version of this. Now they are a lot of the people are coming back to do their own voice acting for their characters.
Yeah, some of them are. So that's pretty cool.
So I think
it's a good way to get the stories and get the actors to actually be involved.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do a lot of these live action. So doing it animated it just works. And a lot of those what if stories were awesome.
So, oh yeah. But I think, mind you, this isn't going to have anything to do with the MCU timeline.
Right.
This is going to be a purely entertainment type of because these were the what ifs. These are the possibilities of whatever could have happened.
Yeah, basically you're going to be seeing different dimensions because that's what it was. It was like, okay, well, it's similar to in the main Marvel universe how they went back and tampered with time, and now you had all these offshoots of time, like with the Loki series. So what if it's kind of the same thing, but animated to make it easier? And then the Watcher is in it, and I think he's going to cross over. I
think the Watcher. Yeah, I did see the Watcher in there.
Yeah, he sees everything, so he sees our universe or the Marvel universe.
So before we talk about the theatrical stuff, one other one that I want to bring up that's on this screen is Hawkeye. They did no trailer for Hawkeye. That's I think in
still shooting.
That's in production right now
in Brooklyn.
Run into the middle of the scenes to find Hawkeye himself, but he wouldn't do it.
I'm gonna go. If they're still shooting next week, I'm gonna go look for. I'm gonna try to find out where they're shooting. I'm gonna go down and try.
Go find Jeremy Renner. Go find Kate Bishop. Whoever. Because as we know that's going to be an important factor with Hawkeye that they are bringing into this. Officially announced that Kate Bishop is going to be in this, and if you guys don't know who Kate Bishop is basically the other big archer within the Marvel universe, and she was more in the Young Avengers area and stuff like that. So obviously she's in this version. She is going to be mentored by Clint himself.
Yeah, she actually became the next Hawkeye when he was supposedly dead. So,
and that's a different story. I'm not going to get into that one right now because that was definitely a sad part to me when I eventually, But we'll see how MCU plays that later on. Theatrical wise, of course, the movie I've been waiting for forever, and everybody else has because we basically got delayed an entire year. Black Widow is the first to come up.
I mean, unfortunately, the hype for this movie for me has died. I'm like, I still want to see it. I mean, it's Marvel. I love Marvel, and I definitely want to see what the heck's going on. But it's like, this whole.
They're gonna have to give us a new trailer.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a new trailer, something to make me go, all right, let's do this. I mean, if they dropped it tomorrow on Disney Plus, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh yeah,
just saying,
100%.
Hype for it. It's kind of like,
but I think because it's been so long, it makes me want to go to the movies and just watch this movie. I still think it's going to be great, and I think because it is placed in the timeline it's placed.
Right.
I think, of course, we know Natasha's dead; she's not coming back.
Right.
There's a lot of questions upon whether she did die, whether she came back when he brought the Soul Stone back. I think at this point, Natasha's dead. Yeah. And she is not coming back by any means. So I think the other reason for them doing this film is I think you are going to see the rise of her sister.
Right. I mean, there's ways she could come back because in the comic, there were a lot of instances where they face swapped. So if this is supposed to be before everything that happened in Endgame, then maybe it wasn't the real Natasha who came back after Civil War and ended up dying in Endgame. Maybe it was the sister. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but the door is open for that. So,
yeah.
And then I think this movie is going to tie into the mutants because remember they're going to be in Russia. You got Colossus there. His sister Magic is there. So
you do, but I think and it did get said. Or a secret footage to get posted up. I think the first version of a mutant we're gonna get is going to be in Falcon Winter Soldier because there's huge possibilities that from what some sets were given in that Omega Red is going to be the first mutant introduced in the MCU, and that is huge. By the way,
that would be huge.
Omega Red's awesome.
a huge character among comic readers. General public's gonna be like, who?
But most people are gonna like, I don't know who Omega Red. Comic readers, Omega Red is a badass.
We're gonna lose our minds.
Yeah. If this is true, and I see Omega Red show up in Falcon Winter Soldier, I'm gonna boom,
literally.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. But yeah, we got that coming on. Then of course there's gonna be a barrage of movies after that. We already know we're supposedly gonna get Shang-Chi next year.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get the Eternals next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Shang-Chi. I'm still betting that we are going to get either a small cameo or he's going to be part of the movie. I still think we're going to get Deadpool in Shang-Chi.
Possibly.
There's a possible way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they do, I don't know.
Right. I mean, he could pop up in all of these movies, basically. He could pop up in the movies, the shows. Like, he's the one character. Well, maybe not the one character.
The only one he can't pop up into is Eternals.
Eternals, right. Unless they do something present day, right. But basically, he's the type of character that if you do it right, he could show up just about anywhere, and you wouldn't bat an eye. You'd be like, okay, makes sense. Yeah. Like, because he's Deadpool. That's
exactly.
Does, you know?
They could put, but I think he's gonna have more than just a cameo role in Shang-Chi. I could be 100% wrong, but that's my prediction. That's where we're gonna see it. Of course, we got Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, which isn't coming out till 2022, and that is, I think, gonna blow the lid off of where they're going with this next, 2 phases.
Right.
Because that's just going to be, and they're just filming it now. In fact, they had said that I think a couple of the actors were actually over filming Multiverse of Madness right now, and
the Benedict Cumberbatch is there. I never remember his real name, but the guy who played Mordo, he's got one of those super difficult names to pronounce.
Oh yeah, I can't.
What's his face is no, the lady who was in it.
Yeah.
She's coming back, which I didn't think she was going to come back. And Wong. So all 4.
Well, of course, we know Wong's coming back. But we do know there's going to be a barrage of different actors throughout the MCU. I think Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness is going to be a Easter egg bombshell.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's going to be one of those movies, to be 100% honest with you, that you have got to have at least seen most of these movies to be able to place pieces together.
Yeah.
Within that movie. Yeah. They're going to screw with your mind in that one. And I definitely think that's going to be, but the information you're going to get out of that movie is going to be a bombshell of what's possible with this multiverse.
Yeah, I think so. And having that supposedly leading into the next Spider-Man movie too, which is
exactly. And he did say something about he did say something. Feige, he didn't announce it. Well, maybe he did. He announced that the next Spider-Man movie is going to be towards the end of 2021.
Okay.
He said it. They didn't put anything on the screen, and I even had to rewind it and make sure I heard it.
You heard it right. Yeah.
He did. I believe it was December 2021 or the end of 2022, somewhere in there. And I have to go back and watch it again. But he did say about Spider-Man. He did make a reference to Spider-Man.
Okay.
So I thought I would have seen something in there, but I was like, wait, what about Spider-Man? You just said something. Ms. Marvel, I think, is going to be a fantastic TV show. Yes. I think they found a fantastic person to play Ms. Marvel. And mind you guys got to remember, Ms. Marvel is a fairly new character.
Yeah, relatively new. I think
in the Marvel universe.
She came out, so.
But the comics have been very, very popular.
Yeah, super
very popular. So it's definitely one to check out. And they already said that Ms. Marvel is going to be in Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, they did say that. Captain, her and Monica Rambeau.
But there's a different person playing Monica Rambeau now.
Yeah, the grown-up version. Yeah, so she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2, and I want to know what they're going to do.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but Monica Rambeau's in WandaVision.
Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be the same character.
Yep, same exact character. So, and then, of course, we got Eternals coming out at the end of next year, which is going to be huge and is going to answer a lot of past questions. Because really the only thing we ever heard from the Centennials, or the Celestials, I'm sorry, is that image that the Collector had shown when he had shown off the Power Stone. Right. So this is all going to be based back and then. Do not expect any cameos from, past or whatnot. I think they're saying there's only a few characters that could have been around during that time.
Right.
And,
and it depends on how far they bring, because the Eternals, I mean, some of them could still be alive currently.
We're kind of immortal.
Yeah. So we'll see. And they're like the precursors to the mutants. Like, it was supposed to be their DNA that helped, that was going to become what mutants were, but somehow the mutants gene was, it was kind of jump started early. That's why it came around. So I think that's going to play into the Marvel universe, the MCU, as far as why we're going to get mutants so fast. I feel like something to do with the snap from Thanos and the Eternals DNA. I think they're going to try to do something similar. So mutants are going to show up. And then, of course, the multiverse.
Oh, yeah.
It's something to do with all three.
There's something going to answer that. And I think there's going to be information we're going to get from the Eternals that is going to basically jumpstart into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So, again, remember, everything within Marvel typically, except for the What If series, it interconnects in some way, shape, or form. And then, of course, a huge announcement, She-Hulk, which we all know. They already said Mark Ruffalo is going to be back into it to do the Hulk. The big announcement is Abomination is
coming back. Yes.
Which, if you guys don't remember Abomination, you got to go back and watch the Hulk with Edward Norton. Of course, Abomination was the villain in that movie. The actual actor that played him has already been signed on to bring back Abomination, which is huge.
Yes.
I think that's going to be great.
And the
actress, I can't remember the actress's name.
Tatiana Maslany. She was in a show called Orphan Black. If you've never watched that show, oh my God, watch that show.
She's a fantastic actress. I couldn't recognize it off the top of my head, but and we all know, mind you guys, I know that a long time ago, if any of you guys have ever watched Metaphorical, he did a whole thing on the fact of showing She-Hulk is way more powerful than the Hulk is. Just saying.
Really?
Oh yeah. She-Hulk is much more powerful than the Hulk is.
Think I would have to argue that, but okay.
Go back if you ever get a chance. Go back at some of Metaphorical's old videos. He did an entire episode comparing Hulk to She-Hulk, and I was the same way in the video. I was like, no way, until I watched his video, and he's like, wow, okay, yeah, you got something there.
Okay, I'll have to watch because
so
I don't think that's true.
I'm excited for it. So again, we have 2 pages for Marvel because there's just so much.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these, some of these are going to be more of small things like the I Am Groot mini series.
Yeah, be an animated series with Baby Groot. Another show for the kids.
Who doesn't like Baby Groot? So it works out. And then of course you got this weird offspring of Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which that's supposed to coincide with the movie coming out of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It's gonna be
3. I'm sorry, but so you're not going to see this holiday special till like 2023.
Yeah, because that's when that Guardians of the Galaxy, they already announced it, 2023.
James Gunn is directing the special.
Yeah,
so you know it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
because everything James Gunn does is just awesome, anyways. And then of course, and then I think the Secret Invasion is also another one
with Sam Jackson. Yeah,
with Sam Jackson, and also the same guy that played Talos. Was it
Talos?
Talos. There we go.
What's
the Skrull?
Something Mendelsohn. I don't remember her name, but yeah.
But this is supposed to talk about basically almost realizing how much the Skrulls are embedded in our human, in Earth, and in every shape or form. That they look like us, but they're not us.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be another version of the Winter Soldier, where they had Hydra pretty much infiltrated Shield.
I'm wondering though,
on a bigger scale with Skrulls, like
if they're doing this, are we gonna get Super Skrull?
Possibly, because the mutants are coming, Fantastic Four is coming. Super Skrull was basically the Fantastic Four all in one. So,
and we all know eventually Young Avengers are coming since they're bringing in Kate Bishop, and also the one that is on here that they also did announce that isn't on here, which is Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yep.
And they've already talked about Cassie Lane.
Right there. Quantumania.
Is it okay? I forgot. Yeah. So that is the next Ant-Man and Wasp, which they have already announced. Cassie Lane is going to be a major part in this because, as we know, Cassie Lane also becomes a Young Avenger. Yep. So they're building the Young Avengers, and the Super Skrull is a large part of the Young Avengers. Not a large part, but is a villain for that with them. So I would like to see. I'm hoping to see Super Skrull.
Yeah, it was an excellent character, man. I mean, from back in the day when he first appeared, like when I was younger, I was like, what? Well,
he was like the Captain America for Skrulls.
Yeah, and I mean, to have all the powers of the Fantastic Four in one, it's like, how could you be beat, man? Like, are you kidding me? So I definitely want to see what they're gonna do with them.
I would like to bring in Moon Knight. What do you think about Moon Knight?
I used to love Moon Knight when I was younger. One of my favorite characters. I just want to see, like, how are they gonna? Because Oscar Isaacs, he's been rumored to play the part.
Yeah,
but they didn't announce it. So
they didn't announce who was playing Moonlight. But I think Moonlight is a very underrated Marvel
character. And the fact, I want to know how they're gonna deal with his like PTSD, multiple personality thing, because he has 3 distinct personalities. So dealing with that and dealing with like the ancient Egyptian part of it from the moon god and all that stuff, like I really want to see how they're gonna play it.
That was my biggest concern with Moon Knight, because he's got multiple personality disorder, and it's interesting. There's only so many people that can pull off acting like that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, the one of the best ones we've seen so far, and I always forget his damn name, is the guy who had played young Professor X in the movies, and he played that in
Oh yeah.
What is his name?
It was just in my head, and I forgot.
Fantastic actor.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. See, when I'm not on the streams, I'd be typing right now. I'd be telling you guys the names of everybody. Now I'm here. I can't remember anybody's name. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Fantastic actor.
Oscar Isaacs, he could pull it off too. He's a great actor.
Like, yeah, I'm not opposed to Oscar Isaac.
I think know him more from Star Wars, but if you've seen some of his other stuff, he's a great actor. So I think he could do it.
I think Moon Knight is going to be an important character, nonetheless, if they can pull it off and they can tell the story correctly. But I definitely think that's a great character add to the MCU.
I'm interested to see what his connection is going to be, though, because he wasn't like an Avenger level hero. He was a street level hero.
Well, he was never an Avenger.
So, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was never one of those like big characters. He was like somebody like Luke Cage, Daredevil. Mm-hmm. They were more street level. They didn't deal with like cosmic threats and stuff. So
they worried just about their city.
Yeah, so I want to see how he's going to play into it.
So be interesting. That leads into another one that I think is going to be fantastic. Is Ironheart.
Yes. Oh, they already cast the actress. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, this should be really good.
I've got my Ironheart pop up here. I'm so ready for Ironheart. Yeah, and I figured they were going to do Ironheart. There is another. What's the other Iron? The other. They did have a point of somebody else. Iron Legion. No, it wasn't Iron Legion. I can't remember right now. But there's another Iron character that came out after Iron Man and stuff like that. But Ironheart, I think, is going to be a fantastic. And again, that's going to be Moon Knight. Invasion, Ironheart, all these are going to be TV shows.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be fantastic. Armor Wars.
Yeah, that one is supposed to be with Rhodey.
Yeah, Rhodey. Rhodey. So which is Iron Patriot.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's character, Rhodey. So he's supposed to basically the Armor Wars comic book, which came out a while ago. Wow. In the 80s? Yeah, I think it was the 80s. It was other countries getting like Iron Man schematics or whatever, and they were building their own armor. So he was basically shutting them all down. So
yeah, he's kind of protecting the Iron, and I think that's where it's going to go, where he's going to protect the Iron Man legacy, essentially.
Yeah.
At the moment, until wherever they place Ironheart in there, he's the only one left with a suit of armor.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And Ironheart, she built her own suit of armor. So
yes,
and it's been rumored that in which Iron Man movie was it? No, it was Civil War, when he was talking to the MIT students. He basically gave them the money for all of their projects to be funded. Supposedly, she was there. So,
well, we've already had a remake back to that point in timeline with Mysterio. So I wouldn't be surprised if that point doesn't come back again. Marvel is great in tying in small things like that somewhere. I would like to. I think that connection would be pretty cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you could retcon the little boy in Iron Man 2 to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like you could retcon her to be sitting in the crowd at the MIT speech that he.
That's right now, and he hasn't answered. Kevin Feige has not answered this yet, but. We know it's come. We know there was a reason. There was a reason that kid from Iron Man 2 was at Tony's funeral.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Well, he because like in Iron Man 3, he's a big part of the movie, and then you don't see him ever again until
he disappears.
Like, what? Why would he even be there unless they were in touch somehow?
And that point took so many people by storm once they saw that in the movies, and they're like, "Wait, who the hell is that kid? And why is he at Tony's funeral?"
Because
when everyone realized it's him, it was like, "Wait, why? There's got to be a reason why he's standing there."
Right.
And we have not gotten that answered yet, and I don't think we're getting that answered yet.
I thought they were setting him up to be Iron Lad. Which was
that's the other Iron I was thinking. That's where I thought they were setting up to be Iron Lad. which would be awesome because Iron Lad it would make sense because Iron Lad was also a Young Avenger.
Yeah.
So we already know they're building the Young Avengers. So it made sense that they're going to build him up to be Iron Lad. But there's been no word of Iron Lad yet.
If anything, he could either be in Ironheart or Armor Wars.
That too.
He could be in either one of those shows. So they could still bring him in.
They could definitely. I mean, and I almost see him being more in Armor Wars than Ironheart. Mm-hmm. But I mean, really, you could put him in either one. But keep in mind, guys, we're gonna see that kid again somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Marvel does not just stick this random kid from a movie many years ago and just stick him back in for no reason.
Right, because they could have just left him out and nobody would have thought twice about it. So bringing him in, they definitely brought him in for a reason.
They brought him in for a big reason. Yeah. Of course, they did announce they're starting filming for Thor: Love and Thunder next month. Which will be big, and then of course I think they said they're starting the filming for Blade coming up in April or something like that. Okay. So that I'm interested in Blade because I'm wondering if Blade is going to be another character that they're working out with Sony that can jump between the MCU and the Spider-Verse.
Well,
because only because Sony has brought out Morbius.
Right. And he was also a Blade villain. So, yeah, it could definitely
not only was he a Spider-Man villain, but he was also a Blade villain.
Yeah, so it could definitely tie in. I want to know where Blade's going to fit in the whole thing anyway. I mean, obviously, they're going to be introducing vampires somehow because that's what he does. He's a vampire hunter. But, like, where is it going to fit?
Yeah, because where has he been?
Right, it's been a progression of where the Marvel universe has gone. Because at first, magic wasn't real. Then it became, oh no, magic's real. So you got technology, you got like aliens, you got magic, and now you're about to bring in this kind of horror element. It's like, and that's like the only show that's going to be that way.
I think the guy that cast for this is gonna blow us away.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's definitely a great actor. I forgot his name.
Hershma Ali or something like that. He's every movie, everything I've ever seen him in, he's a fantastic actor.
Oh, he's great.
And I think he's gonna portray Blade. I don't think they could have picked a better person to portray something that Wesley Snipes did make such. Wesley Snipes was a fantastic Blade.
Oh,
don't take that wrong.
Those movies
anyway.
I mean, the third one wasn't as good, but it's still awesome. Watch the whole Blade Trinity. It's great.
I remember watching the first one in the theaters.
I saw it too, and I was blown away.
Oh, yeah. Completely blown away. And you got to remember, guys, this is the first, back then, this is the first successful Marvel movie.
Yeah. Because before then, most Marvel movies were those cheesy TV movies or, just the horrible special effects and stuff. So
people didn't even realize that Blade was a Marvel character.
Yeah.
And so this was the first. This was huge when Wesley Snipes brought out Blade because it made it so where they could go, okay, we can pursue this. We can go down this alley. Yep. So
that's when they brought X-Men and then they did Spider-Man and So
don't take anything away from Blade. Blade kind of paved the way for us. Wesley Snipes did, but I think them rethinking it is going to be huge. And I would like to see them basically be able to do a crossover.
Yeah. And if Wesley Snipes had his way, he would have been the Black Panther too, because he was trying to get the Black Panther movie going for years. I mean, I'm glad he didn't because the Black Panther we got was awesome.
We just lead into where I'm going in a minute, but of course we did say briefly Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. I think is going to be another real mind screw with this because when you're talking quantum realm, you're talking anything's possible.
Yep, and I think that's going to lead into Fantastic Four also. But they already announced that Kang is going to be the main villain.
Yes. Yes.
So
that's why I want to stop here before we went to the next one. Kang the Conqueror. I knew Kang was going to come in.
Yep.
Had to come in because we started screwing with the timeline.
Yep.
And who's the master of time in itself? Kang the Conqueror.
Yep. He actually like tries to shut down people from doing time shenanigans, man. He's like, y'all are messing this crap up.
Here's the mind screw of this entire thing, and that'll lead into the last announcement of the night. Kang is the son of surprise. Kang is the son of Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic.
Grandson or great grandson, not his direct son. Yeah,
he's related he's related within the first family.
Yeah.
So big, and then of course Black Panther 2. They did a little tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which I think was fantastic, and they officially announced that there is in no way, shape, or form are they going to replace him. Which hands off to Marvel for that. I think that's a terrific decision. Yep. I think that they have still many avenues. I think his sister can take over.
Yep.
The costume. I also think to a certain extent they could bring Killmonger back into it.
Yep. I mean, considering that it's so far off and we're gonna have this multiverse thing happening, a different version of Killmonger could come out of this, multiverse. Maybe he wasn't so angry. Yeah, he finds out his heritage and wants to come help.
Exactly. So there's a lot of possibilities that could take over. So it could. I think it's either going to go in the direction of his sister taking over the suit, or something happens with Killmonger, or another version of Killmonger, but Michael B. Jordan taking over the suit. One of the two. That's the way I see that direction going. I know some people have said possible M'Baku. No, I don't see that, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I don't see him being the Black Panther. I could see him being the leader of Wakanda.
Yes.
Somebody, as far as who's going to be the Black Panther character, that's either going to be, in my opinion, it should be Killmonger or Shuri.
Yeah. But I think M'Baku, I think a lot of people will respect M'Baku taking over as leader of Wakanda.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic decision. And then, of course, last but not least, and I think the biggest, I cheered when I saw it. We have the first family. We all knew it was going to come, and finally, please, we're going to get some justice for the first family.
I hope so, man.
We've had 3 horrible movies.
I won't say hard. I mean, the first Fantastic Four movie I enjoyed. It wasn't the best movie. It certainly wasn't like MCU level of what we have now.
Even Chris Evans says he regrets doing it.
When it came out, I was like, this was pretty good. The second one, you brought in Silver Surfer. You talked about Galactus all this time.
You screwed everything up when you brought in Silver Surfer, and you did it wrong.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, bringing him in wasn't bad, but how you did it, that was just stupid. Like, he got his powers from his surfboard. Get out of here.
Oh. And that was never in the comic books. There was no.
Yeah, then Galactus being this giant cloud in the sky. Like, no, I want to see giant purple Galactus. What are you doing? Like, yeah, that just.
And that's the thing is everyone heard Silver Surfer was going to be in there. You knew Galactus because Silver Surfer, Galactus.
Yeah,
they go hand in hand.
They didn't even have to bring Galactus in the second movie. Like, brought Silver Surfer in, and he could have been like setting up the Earth for Galactus. Decided, okay, I want to save the Earth, and then third movie, Galactus comes and they have to defeat him. Like
they had great possibilities.
Yes, exactly.
But even Chris Evans says he kind of regrets doing it.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
He's done a lot of comic book movies, though.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of comic book movies.
But he, and then of course that last Fantastic Four, I think we all just couldn't forget about that 100%.
It took me so long to finally watch that movie, and I watched it earlier this year. And the first, like, maybe hour of the movie, it was okay, but there was a point where it just shifted, and it was like, okay, what are you guys
Yeah, to me, a lot of it, you killed the storyline, you screwed up
Yeah.
the pooch.
Like, what are you guys doing? Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
But
I'm like, whatever. I don't know where you guys are going with this, but it was bad. But I, as Kevin Feige said before, when it comes to Fantastic Four, forget everything you know.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be awesome, and I think it's going to tie into Ant-Man in the quantum realm. I think the quantum realm is going to be one of the things they use as kind of like a MacGuffin to explain a lot of stuff.
Because, I think so too.
Like you could literally do a 60s era Fantastic Four, have them disappear into the quantum realm and come out in present day, and they didn't age because the time vortices. So
it was only like 10 minutes to them.
Yeah. So it could be something like that where they were in there. It could even be a year for them. They would still come out basically the same, and now they have powers or whatever. I don't know, but
exactly.
There's a lot of things they could do, and they got the right people in the right places. Like, for one thing Marvel does is they definitely know how to pick people to do their movies.
Yeah.
Even the worst ones. Like, I know a lot of people like rag on the second Thor movie, like saying how bad it was. It's definitely...
I don't think it was bad, and I think it told a story that we needed to be told, and there was things in that you needed to know in order to move forward.
Yeah.
Would I like it to be a little bit better than it was? Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could have definitely been better, but if you watch that movie compared to a lot of other movies, as far as superhero
Batman,
it really wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad. And then for them to go back to it in Endgame and go, okay, well, you guys didn't like this movie, so we're gonna take you back to this movie and show you.
Well, it also shows that when they went for Thor 3, and they kind of put it in a completely different direction, and it opened up to a lot of different possibilities. But I think Marvel does listen, and they everyone ragged on Thor 2. So guess what they did? Thor 3, completely different direction.
One of the things I think it was kind of twofold in that respect, where they were like, all right, well, we're contracted for another movie. All right, let's do it. But give it to this director who's just going to take it in such a different direction that if it fails, okay, we're done with Thor anyway. And if it succeeds, great, we got more story.
Exactly. After there was a huge success.
After second Thor, they were probably done with Thor anyway. But Taika Waititi did his thing, and now
Taika was awesome, dude.
Yeah, he certainly turned that movie franchise around.
They did announce a huge plethora of actors, stuff like that. One big acting duo, of course, that is absent in this entire thing, and I think that they are ramping them up for something huge. Of course, it's the Russo brothers.
Yes.
But Russo brothers have also said they would be willing to come back to MCU and direct if there was only one. They're going in one direction, and that's the Secret Wars. And I think with a lot of this we're going to see, I think we're going to ramp up for Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could be coming in the future.
But most of this, I think, is still within Phase 4 going into Phase 5.
Right.
So of course we don't have any word on Deadpool 3, so don't ask. We don't know. We may not hear anything about Deadpool 3 for another year.
I did hear that they're going to try to keep it rated R, which is crazy for a Disney movie.
Well, and I think that's why we didn't hear anything, because I think there's also been big extensions out, and I think they're still trying to line up the actors, because I think they are going to go with a whole rated R type of movies with Deadpool. I'd love to see them bring back the Punisher, John Berthal's version of the Punisher.
Oh, and Charlie Cox, he's supposed to be in Spider-Man 3 also.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, wait a minute.
And then I would love to see them. From what I've heard, offers have been brought to John Berthal for Punisher, and offers have been made out to I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays Murdoch in Daredevil from the Netflix series.
That's his name, Charlie Cox.
And again, if they do the Punisher, and Berthal only said he will come back, and he has no problem bringing the Punisher character back, only if it's done right.
Yeah.
So he's been the best Punisher, and if he does it right, and they do Daredevil correctly, Daredevil the way it was meant to be done, which is a dark.
Yes. Listen,
whatever.
That Netflix show was one of the best things that they did. I mean, that Daredevil show was awesome, man. Yeah. I watched, and Daredevil was another character I loved when I was
but those are the only two characters or only two people that I heard that contracts were extended out to out of all the Netflix series. Yeah. Those are the only two that was extended out. So I think they're, and I don't think we're going to hear about this for another year, but I think they are going to be fully open to doing a rated R versions of these movies, because they know that that's where some of these, something like the Punisher, you can't not do that
rated R version.
We already saw what not doing a rated R version of Punisher looks like, and it's horrible.
Right.
So, but that's it, guys. Huge announcements. I think the future, and plus there was many other huge announcements in this. If you guys get a chance, there's a lot of stuff in there talking about Disney Plus. A lot of big animated information. I knew we were gonna have so much to talk about with Star Wars and Marvel that I didn't even get into that, but there's a lot of huge animated stuff that came on. They got TV shows from Tiana to all these big character stuff coming out. So the future for Disney Plus is big. Get on the boat for this, because
get it.
Disney Plus is about to ramp up huge. The future for Star Wars, if you guys ever want to know if there was a future of Star Wars, oh yes, there's a future for Star Wars.
Get that.
And I know as far as Marvel goes, this whole past year, everyone would like to forget it's the missing year of Marvel, but they are coming back big next year with Marvel, so don't you worry. It's just starting. This whole next phase is just starting.
Yeah, it is.
So, buddy, thank you very much for coming on and joining me.
Anytime, bro.
Of course, we got to have our human fact checker over here, and for all this information. I knew you were going to be one of the few guys that were actually like me watching this.
I watched them all back to back to back.
I know we're going to be talking tomorrow. If you guys get a chance, Mandalorian panel tomorrow, 3:30. Come check it out. It's a lot of fun. I'm not the huge Star Wars guy, but I like to make random comments because Mandalorian's a fantastic show. Yes. So, but if you didn't watch Mandalorian, I'm just going to tell you, complete. We talk about the entire episode. So if you didn't watch the episode, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Techbot says, look at that lightsaber.
Vader saber, baby.
But definitely come and check it out. Other than that, what you got coming up? I know you got some big news coming up pretty soon.
I dropped my 300 subscriber giveaway video. Please go check that out. I'm giving away 3 Funko Pops and 3 different giveaways. Go to those content creators' pages, Popped Heat, Chase's Kingdom, and What Did I Buy Today. Go to the videos I linked. Drop the hashtag JKL300, and then Wednesday the 16th, I'll be announcing the winners with my boy Popped Heat. I know I linked his page, but that's my boy, so I'm helping him out. And you have to be live at the live stream. You have to be there in order to win. So if you tag those videos, make sure to be there 4:30 Wednesday, December 16th, 4:30 Eastern. Do your own time conversion. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Not 300 Funko Pops.
But guys, thank you guys. I do apologize for tonight. Tonight was a screw up. I was all ready to go. I was just having some food, relaxing on the couch in between the live streams. And again, I fell asleep. Again, I work late nights. By the time I get to Fridays, that stuff catches up. I can fall asleep like that nowadays. It's real easy. So I do apologize. Luckily, my wife is fantastic. And she showed up and goes, "Did you do your live stream yet?" Ooh. You're like, JKL is awesome. He was still sitting there waiting for me. We just decided to go with it anyway. So again, we will go back to our original time next week of 9:00. I want to thank you guys. I know there's a bunch of guys that jumped on late on. later in, which is Jedi John, Funko Ops, Zach Bonifire. Again, thank you guys for coming back and joining us. If you guys want to hear the rest of ours, definitely hit up the rewind. And again, come and check us out tomorrow. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you everybody for joining us for another edition of Techbot After Dark. So do what you like, do what you love. What do we say? Unleash your inner nerd, guys.
There you go.
Take it easy. Have a good night.